So back in the project, we already have a lot of components there. What we don't have yet are directives. And that's a pity because we can do a lot of the things we're currently doing cleaner or in the first place with directives. Good example, of course, is the list or are the lists. So for example, the recipe list here, recipe list component, we have to loop here. We're just outputting one item. That's certainly not what we want. So let's loop through multiple items. In order to do so, I will first create an actual array of recipes here instead of that dummy recipe, which we won't need in the future. I prepared one for that, and I will replace this empty recipes array here with that prepared one. I'll also get rid of recipe here. Now, the last thing here, this array, is a new thing I added because I need to add a new class, a new thing to my application. We have ingredients in our recipes, and currently we don't have that specified in the recipe model. However, I want to do that. However, for that, I need to have an ingredient class. So I will do this, and I will navigate into my, out of the shopping list, into the shared folder. And here I will generate a new class with ngGCL. And I will name this ingredient. And in this shared folder, this will create this new ingredient class, also added to the index.ts file. And I will configure this ingredient. So I will quickly do this with the shortcut here, give this a name and an amount. That should be all my ingredients have, specified by the name and how many we need. Should be a number, oh, and name should be, of course, be a string. So that's my ingredient class, that's all. And with that, I'll change my recipe here to have a fourth field, public ingredients, which should be of type ingredient array. And for that, of course, I need to import ingredient, and I'll let my IDE do that, import it from the shared folder here, don't need that. So with that, I set up my recipe to have ingredients, and now I'm in line with the new data I just added here, where I have this empty array at the end because those items currently don't have any ingredients by default here. Let's say you could of course add some, but I just wanted to set this up in a clean way as we will have it throughout this application. Now back to the actual topic here, directives. I'll add a directive in the recipe list component.html file because I'm no longer just binding one single recipe. I want to loop through them instead and create this recipe item component for each recipe in our array. So I will use the ngFor directive here to loop through all that, let recipe of recipes. And I can still leave this property binding here because we still have recipe available. It's no longer a property of our class here, but instead it's this local variable created in the for loop. And that is exactly what I want to pass to the newly created recipe item component. So that is fine and will still work. And if I save this and go to my application, you now see that this still works, but we have actual recipes now. With one single, or let's say 5 lines of code we changed. That's really awesome in my opinion. So this already shows the power of directives, how we can easily create such loops here. And of course we will do a similar thing in the shopping list where we also want to loop through items. So back in the shopping list here, in the shopping list component.html file, I want to loop through my items. And I can easily do that. I'll go to this anchor tag, which represents the individual item, and I add the ngFor directive here too, to loop through all my shopping list item of items in this case. Now items doesn't exist yet. So I will go to my shopping list component.ts file and just set up a dummy array here of type ingredient array. Ingredient, of course, is the new class we just created, this new model. So make sure to add the import to the shared folder here. And this should be just an empty array so that nothing breaks. So if I reload here, you see that nothing changed here, but now theoretically at least we're looping through that. And that is a great thing to start with.